Okay guys, welcome to the midday analysis. It is Wednesday, the 18th of January, and it is 13:01 here in the UK. For those of you watching this on YouTube who aren't in the actual webinar room, my name's Nick from forexfornoobs.com, and in today's analysis I'm going to be looking through each and every pair on my list, and I'm going to be looking at each time frame that I trade, scanning for price action setups. So we're going to be looking for reversal setups, generally speaking, and we're going to be looking at the setups that I spotted yesterday also. So yeah, let's get started. Actually, before I do that, I wanted to make a few announcements for Forex Mastermind members, the people in this room right now. In case you haven't heard from the forum, February 23rd, we will be meeting up in London. So anyone who is a member is welcome to come. And on the 24th, we are going to be at the Forex, some Forex convention. I can't remember what it's called, Forex Trading Show or something like that, because our very own member, one of my best students, Viet, is going to, well, he actually laid down a challenge to a famous trader. That Viet, the student, his robots, his trading robots, his trading price action robots, could beat him on a one-on-one trading competition. So now he's going to have to go on stage and challenge that trader. So yeah, that's going to be on the 24th. Everyone's welcome to come. You have to book tickets. I think it's around £50. That's like, none of that money goes to me. That's just the Forex Trading Show thing. I've paid the £50 to go also. So yeah, the 23rd, we are going to be meeting up and going out for drinks and possibly dinner. Me, Viet will be there, and then anyone who wants to come is welcome. Then on the 24th, I'll put out info. On the 24th is going to be the trade show, which you're also welcome to come to watch Viet on stage. So yeah, it should be pretty fun. It's going to be the first actual meetup, which is cool. I'm pretty excited. Yeah, I just want to put that out there because it's been on the forum, but I know that forum section, not everyone really looks at it. So I thought I'd mention it in the webinar because everyone's going to see it here. I'm probably also going to send out a few emails about it. So yeah. And there was another thing I wanted to say, but I can't remember. I'll link you guys to the forum thread in a little bit after the analysis. Anyway, let's actually get started with the analysis itself. So in today's analysis, we're just going to be flicking through the charts and we're going to be looking for setups. And I know you guys in the room know this, but I'm saying this for all the new people watching on YouTube. So starting with Euro AUD, yeah. Nothing much is happening. I was looking for a potential reversal yesterday on Euro AUD, a potential long reversal, but the setup never really triggered and now it's continuing down. So yeah, this is cancelled. New Zealand USD though. Is anyone in on this trade? Now it's going to surprise some of you to know that I'm already in on this trade. I got in a while back, and it's dropping quite nicely right now, which is good. Now I know a lot of you are going to say, well, how'd you enter that trade? Why'd you enter so early? Well, the reason I entered was because I'm kind of starting to change the way I enter my trades a little bit. Last year I tested a new risk to reward ratio, and I tested a few different things. And this year I'm going to be switching up a few things I do with indecision candles, which we will discuss, you know, on the forum and in future webinars. But this trade has already been entered. It was entered several hours ago, and it's going quite well. So my entry was something like this. Now, if you haven't watched yesterday's analysis, this is a trade we talked about in yesterday's analysis. So when we talked about it yesterday, what this trade was doing was, well, what this potential setup was doing was, it was around about here, And I was saying that when it approaches this resistance area, we might see signs of a reversal. And sure enough, after a while it approached it and we got that reversal. Aren't I amazing? I predicted a complete reversal. The price wasn't even at that area. No, I'm kidding. You know, a lot of the times when you look at this and you say, oh, I think it's going to push up to here and reverse from there, it just goes straight through or reverses before. So it's nothing like, you know, it's not like I had a crystal ball. It's just I had a pretty strong resistance area. It approached that resistance area, and this time it has reversed from it. And that's how I use my support resistance areas. I place them on my chart. I know they are areas in which price is likely to stall or maybe even reverse. So when price is approaching those areas, I keep an eye on them, especially if it's a strong area like this one. I keep an eye on price and what it's going to do. And this time, by keeping an eye on it, I saw that it actually started reversing, so I entered the trade. I don't have my exact numbers for entering. Oh, damn it. So yeah, it's not a crystal ball kind of thing. It's just support resistance areas are areas in which we know there is going to be some sellers, and this time the sellers have actually turned this trend around, or are starting to. Now it might not actually completely turn around, but it's looking pretty good right now. So my trade setup is something like this. I have a 1-to-2 ratio. Well, let's pull that down. Close enough. So my risk to reward ratio is 1-to-2. Risk reward ratio of 2. So it's not even close to its target right now, but it is starting to drop. It's making new lows, which is a good sign. But it's really struggling. It's not giving me that push that I want to see from sellers, at least not yet. But let's give it a few hours. Let's see how it plays out. It is a strong resistance area. Sellers have taken control of price, so yeah, it's looking good right now. If you're in the trade, you should probably well, most of you guys I assume have entered down here. I entered a bit higher, but that is fine. So let's just do some quick analysis on how you should play this trade. Now, my concern with this is this area here, right? You guys can understand why I'm concerned about that. Tong, we'll discuss, like I said, I am trying something new with my entries. I'm trying something new with trading reversal setups, and it's something that we will discuss in future. It's not something I want to discuss in this specific webinar, because this webinar here is going to be posted to YouTube, and this new stuff is something I want to discuss only with Forex Mastermind members at this moment in time. So we can't really discuss it in this webinar. It's just something new I'm trying though. Anyway. Yeah, so the problem area with this trade. Problem area. I'm sure you guys can see, wrong tool. I'm sure you guys can see why I would consider this a problem area. As price was coming up through here, it stalled and it moved around for quite some time. And then it continued up. So each of these is a 6-hour candle. So we got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48. I'm not even sure if I'm doing this right. 54, 60. Yeah, so we got like 60 hours. You know, that's a significant amount of time that it got stuck here. And I don't want to do the same again. I don't want to be short on this trade and have my target, let's say here, right? And then have to wait 60 hours or more as price does this, and then eventually goes down, or worse, as it does that and then turns around and goes back up. So this is what we refer to as minor support resistance, or just a problem area. And it's one of the tricks of trading price action. Whenever you enter a trade, the first thing you do is look to the left. So you're considering entering a trade. You look to the left. What do you see to the left? You see this. What does that tell you? It tells you that there is probably going to be trouble in this area, or possibly. And if you need further proof of that, you could just look further to the left and we could see that this has happened quite often. Damn it. Okay. Ooh, wow. Big surprise, it all lines up. So whenever you enter a trade, you have to look to the left, or before you enter the trade, you have to look to the left. Looking to the left tells us that this is a problem area. So I would suggest that your targets be, you know, somewhere around here, possibly. You know, it could be a little bit into that kind of problem area, but you wouldn't want it down here, you know, all the way to the other side, because it's going to be tough for sellers to reach there, possibly. But of course, this also just depends. You just have to look at it and see how it plays out. When price reaches down here, it could be an extremely strong bearish trend, and sellers could just push right through, and then you'll have no problem. So just keep a close eye on this. What I like to do is set price alarm here. So instead of setting my exit there, I set a price alarm there. Now that price alarm is going to send an email to my phone. Those emails have a label on them set by Gmail, which makes my phone ring. That way, or not ring, but just play some audio, make a noise. And that alerts me to the fact that the trade is, you know, that price is reaching that area, and then I can have a look and I can see what it's doing. If I take a look and I see price moving like really, really quickly and smashing through the area, then, you know, I'll probably not exit. But if I see price starting to stall, then I check back in 30 minutes and it's still doing this, and then I check back in a few hours later and it's still doing that, I might decide to exit a bit early. So yeah, my overall point, I'm talking a bit too much about this trade. Overall point is just watch out for this area. It could be a problem for this trade, but for those of you who are in, good work, and let's see how it plays out. Any questions about this trade before we continue and look for other setups? I entered on the 6 hour. My stop, yeah, it was based on that. I don't know why, to be honest. Normally I don't look back this far for my stop losses, but I didn't really have any good reference point for a stop loss here, and I didn't want it too low in the resistance area, and I did have the room to play with, so I just set my stop just above that point there. And it is a pretty significant high, you know, several months since November, so yeah, I just placed it there. Usually I like to look for a reference point for my stops. I like to put them above a recent high, and here we didn't really have a recent high except for that one there, but placing it above that, it wouldn't give me much confidence in that stop loss. It's going to be nothing for buyers to push up and touch that stop loss, make that very minor new high. You know, I was just looking at it thinking it's completely pointless placing a stop there. If that stop is hit, it isn't an indication to me that sellers have lost control of price. In no way, because it's just a very minor move up. So yeah, I placed it up there. Any other questions about this setup? It's actually making a move now. I mean, it keeps pushing down a few pips. It's not moving as fast as I would like, but let's see if the buyers can continue this move. All right, doesn't look like there's any other questions, so let's actually get on to analyzing some some other trades. All right, so USD JPY, what's going on with that? It went below our support area and now it's coming back up into the support area. So there's not really a potential for a trade here based on what I'm seeing. This might be the start of a new area of support resistance. We might have to adjust our support resistance areas, but right now I'm not going to do that. So let's, we can't really do anything with this today. AUD JPY is in between two support resistance areas, so we're not going to see much happening here. Yeah. AUD New Zealand is in between two support resistance areas, so we're not going to see much happening there. Most pairs, when you look at them on a day-to-day basis, they're going to be in between two support resistance areas because our support resistance areas take up that much space and the space in between takes up this much space. So when you're looking, more often than not, you're going to see price being in between two support resistance areas. So this is pretty normal. Euro CAD is just arranging on top of a support resistance area. Nothing really much that's tradable here. It's just too tight a range. I mean, I'm not saying that this kind of stuff isn't tradable. It's just not something that I look for trading. But yeah, there is obvious price action here. Price is getting into a tight wedge. It's on a support area, so this area is probably going to stop price from moving down. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a breakout to the upside, but this is not a pattern that I would actually trade. So that's another thing I want to look at more this year. I limit myself to trading reversal patterns because they are what I have found to be the most profitable way to trade. But it's not as if I can't see other price action and I can't understand or read other price action. I find price action very simple to read, and I find it simple to understand what is happening here and what one of the potential outcomes is and how that could be profitable. But even so, I don't trade it because I have the patterns I look for and they're a lot cleaner and they're a lot more profitable for me. But this year I want to start looking at different things and possibly trading different things. But yeah, we'll talk about that as the year unfolds. Euro GBP, what is going on with that? Well, I kind of saw this coming yesterday. I'm not sure if we talked about it in the analysis. I think we may have. I talked about price coming down to this support area and potentially reversing. I'd have to look back on the analysis, but I think we spoke about this. It has done that, but you know, I was looking at it overnight and I was thinking, this isn't really something I'd want to trade as it was approaching that area. But it is looking like a pretty decent reversal. So is anyone in this? Is anyone traded a reversal from here? I'm just finding it hard to trust GBP right now, taking trades on the pound. There's too much. Yeah, there's too many problems with the Brexit stuff. Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's traded it. Fair enough. Euro JPY, is anyone in a reversal here? I saw something posted to the forum. I didn't really have time to read it, but it seems like some people are entering a reversal here. I don't really like the setup. I think we also spoke about this yesterday, and I said that I wasn't really a big fan of the setup. It was just too messy all the way through there, and the risk to reward ratio is not going to be that good. And you know, if price moves up to here, it looks like it's probably going to do some of that and then come back down. And I'm not interested in this at all. Is anyone in on this? No, it doesn't look like you guys are, so cool. Euro USD is in between two support resistance areas, so there's no potential for a trade there. GBP JPY is just doing whatever it is doing. Pull this area down for now. Yeah, GBP JPY, I mean, there's nothing that we could really trade here. It's in between two support resistance areas, but Also simply the fact that it has been completely destroyed this week by the weekend, May's comments on the weekend, and then May's speech. It's just a mess. I'm not really. GBP USD, same situation. It's headed back down to the support area. It gained a lot of ground yesterday after May's speech, but now it's just heading straight back into support. So New Zealand CAD is in between two support resistance areas. USD CAD is fallen below support, coming back up to test it. Support has now become resistance. Yeah, so this could be the start of a continuation. Something like this. But there's nothing really that I'd want to trade there. USD CHF is in between two support resistance areas. GBP CAD probably wouldn't want to trade, but it's in between two support resistance areas regardless. So, and Euro New Zealand, yeah, in between two support resistance areas. So there's no new setups right now. Yeah, no new setups right now. But do keep a close eye on New Zealand USD. See how this one plays out. And I am going to be checking back in around about 3 to 4 hours. Obviously, we won't be having a webinar then because I can't do a webinar every time I check my charts. But I'll be checking in a few hours, and we might have some setups then. Just because you don't find setups when you check in, at one point in the day, it doesn't mean that 4 hours or 6 hours later there won't be a trade setup. So yeah, I'm going to check back in around about 5-6 p.m. UK time and scan for setups then, and then I'll check again before I go to bed and have a look for setups at that time. Yeah, sure. You have support resistance at 1.123. Oh no, sorry, you changed that. 1.237. All right, yeah, I see why you'd have support resistance there. GBP USD has pushed into new areas, and it's very hard to get accurate support resistance right now on this pair, just because it hasn't been down here since the 80s. So when it pushed down to here, this is the only data we really have for this area. So support resistance is a bit tricky to place. I see your logic behind placing one there. Yeah, I'm gonna place something there. It's hard to get good support resistance on this pair. So what is your question, Richard? Hello, David. Did you have a specific question about this, or? Yeah. Well, I mean, you're making profit right now, so that's a good thing. What's your target? And what is your entry? And also your stop loss. Oh, sorry, you did say your entry. My mistake. Sorry. Your target is 240 pips. I don't usually do it like this, but I'm guessing that will work. Yeah. Stop loss is 62 pips. That's a nice risk to reward ratio you got there. 3.87 risk to reward ratio. Nice. Yeah, okay. I mean, you should also consider that there, minor support resistance in this area here. Should take that into consideration. You could see that it bounced quite heavily from there, and then on the way up, it did the same thing. This is what I was saying earlier. When you enter a trade, always look to the left. So if you look to the left, you're going to see clear signs that, wait, I'm just going to do this and then zoom in. If you look to the left, you're going to see clear signs that sellers struggled on their way down, and significantly struggled. I mean, it pushed back up, came down again, and then pushed back up. This was quite a long period. And then on its way up, sellers significantly struggled. So expecting this to move straight down to there, it's, quite ambitious. Because this big move up was caused by Theresa May's speech. So yes, it did clear this area in a single candle, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen again, because this was a big news-based move, and it was big news. It was a speech about Brexit. I'd be concerned about that. Come on, New Zealand USD, start moving. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, and it is trending down quite heavily. And it would not surprise me at all if price were to return to here. Because news-based moves are often short-lived, and let's face it, pretty much everything Theresa May said yesterday, it was all feel good but very little content. So it had a positive impact, but is it going to last? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it heads back down here over the coming days, but yeah, it's always best to look to the left and just be aware of stuff like that. I'm not saying necessarily move your target up. I'm just saying, set a price alarm like you said you would, and just be aware of what's happening when it approaches that area. If it stalls heavily, you might want to close out part of the position, something like that. And that would be at a risk to reward ratio of 2, so it's a very, very good risk to reward ratio anyway once it hits down there. All right, anyway guys, are there any other questions? There's not much time left today, so if there's any other questions, I'll answer them real quick. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up this webinar. There's a lot of people typing, I can see. So I am going to wait. Jonas, I saw you typing something. Were you going to ask a question? I know you can't see it on this screen here, but on my other screen I can see if someone's typing. Do I think Fiat will beat Charlie? I don't know. I hope so. I mean, it's gonna be pretty cool because Viet's trading robots, or I call them trading robots, but it's really a trading AI, is price action based, and it's pretty much the first price action based trading AI in existence that I know of. That's actually good. And yeah, it would just be cool, really, because Viet is one of my students. Well, he started off as one of my students. Now he's a professional trader, and I don't know. I think it would be a really cool feeling to have one of my students go on stage and beat a professional trader, a famous professional trader who's been on trading documentaries. You know, it would just be really, really cool to see that. And we're gonna have a bunch of people from the forum there, and we're all gonna be cheering him on, and it's gonna be cool. And even if he doesn't win, just the fact that he's up there, you know, challenging this professional trader, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited. February 24th. Everyone watching this YouTube video, you are invited to come. The 23rd is just for Forex Mastermind members, but the 24th, it's everyone's invited to come. I will post a link, and just to make it 100% clear, because I don't want to be accused of trying to sell tickets because I'm lining my pockets. This is nothing like the Forex show. I'm not making any money from it. I'm not advertising it. The only part of that show that I'm going to is the event that Viet is going to be in. So it costs around £50. It's on the 24th in London. I'll put a link below this video on YouTube so you could check it out. I will be there. A lot of my students will be there. So if you want to come meet me, you want to come watch the show, yeah, come down. It's going to be fun. I'll probably, Viet's not going to be able to make it for drinks later because he's going to be hanging out with the guy that he's obviously going to destroy on stage. But I'll probably be going out for drinks afterwards, so everyone's welcome to join me for drinks also. Yeah, so hopefully I can see some of you guys there. Other than that, we'll call an end to this analysis, and I'll see you guys for tomorrow's analysis.